I'm asked a lot what separates those people from those that succeed and those that don't succeed. So I want to spend a few minutes to talk about that. First, understand absolutely that while these steps are simple in this acquisition journey, simple is not the same thing as easy. And this will take you out of your comfort zone. This will be emotionally difficult. That's why reading Release Your Brakes by Jim Newman. That's why going through and working on your mindset, which will ultimately impact your self-esteem and self-image, is so critically important to this. You're going to deal with rejection. So just understand that's part of the process. So what do those people that succeed do? Number one, they work on that. Number two, they get focused on this and they stay focused the longest. And ultimately, they take action. There is no substitute for taking action. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how to do that. Certainly, people have jobs, they have other things that get in the way. And imagine that those don't exist and that you have a goal and you have to accomplish that goal. Okay? So get really important about what your why is. Why are you doing this? That will carry you through the tough times. There was a movie recently I saw. I don't watch a lot of movies, but I did this, and it was called 12 Strong. And it was about 12 Special Forces operators that went into Afghanistan after 9/11 to go after the Taliban. Basically a suicide mission, if you will. And the commanding officer said the most important thing that a soldier can carry into battle is his why. And he gave him a piece of the World Trade Center to put in his pocket to remind him of why he was on this mission. Ultimately, they completed the mission, no loss of life, which was amazing in and of itself. If you want to watch a movie on leadership and mindset, you could do a lot worse than watch 12 Strong. So figure out your why. Why are you doing this? And then understand the steps. You have to know how to do this and what the steps are. If you don't do that, you're just shooting in the dark. There's plenty of ways to figure that out, both free material and not free material. My all-new Deep Dive Bootcamp on my website goes through those steps as well. So you can certainly take advantage of any number of ways to learn those steps, but that's critical. And then ultimately you have to take action. And what I would ask you to do this next week is to get clear on your why and then get clear on taking action. And I'm going to read a list here. Go ahead and make the number of these in the following week that you want to do. LinkedIn accepted connection requests, meetings scheduled, meetings held, meetings with a successful outcome, cold calls, got through to the owner, notes left, letters sent, emails sent, voicemails left, banks contacted, banks warmed up, NDAs sent, LOIs sent, financials received, and LOIs accepted. And you could also put deals done, depending upon where you are in this process. But if you write down those categories, take the ones that apply to you, again, follow the steps. So if you're talking about building your board of directors, you're not going to worry about contacting banks yet. Write down the numbers you want to do, and then make a line and sign that line so that this is a contract with yourself and that you're going to do this. And then the following week, go back and look at that and see what you've done. I would encourage you to not only take that list and say, in the next week I'm going to do this, but then break that down into daily numbers, which gives you something every day to say, okay, this is what my targets are, and that's what I'm going to do today. And you're going to find that if you consistently set those numbers, set the outreach, which is critical in this, kissing a lot of frogs has been said a lot of times, that you will make more progress than people that don't pay attention to that. And that which gets measured gets done as long as it's coupled with action. So I want to take a few minutes to do that. Understand this is an emotionally hard process. Understand you will get better. As an example of that, I have a mentee who said he was terrified of making cold calls. Really wasn't cold calls, it was warm calls because he was following up on the letters that he had sent. But he was terrified of doing that, which is interesting because he was in a sales role. But I said to him, tomorrow, just make 5 cold calls. Just make 5. And so I talked to him the next day, asked him if he made his 5. He said, no, I forget, he made 100 and something calls. The next week, he made 400 calls. And he said to me, I'm a cold caller motherfucker, man, now. So you can change mindset very quickly. And what you find is the things that you are afraid of, when you tackle them and when you work through them, they don't scare you anymore most of the time. So, and cold calling is a great example of that. So irrespective of where you are, put down at least some category of cold calls that you want to make. Maybe it's 5 calls. And you're going to get nervous, usually, most people, about those calls. And then gauge where you are after making those 5 calls about that feeling. Really important. You will stretch your comfort zone. You will get used to it. You'll get used to rejection. Nobody died for making a cold call. And so that's the best advice I can give to you about those that are successful versus those that aren't successful. They get focused early on. They stay focused. They know the steps and follow the steps. They take action. They measure themselves, and they hold themselves accountable. And if you do that, your odds of success will be much better than if you don't. Certainly subscribe to this channel if it's helpful for you. Hope it is. That's the intent of it. And then go over to brucewhipple.com, grab the free class if you haven't already, and take a look at the free material not only there, but also when you sign up for that free class, you'll get the emails 3 times a week, which are actionable emails. So I hope that helps. That's the intent of this. And follow those steps, track your numbers, make yourself accountable. And I think you're going to like what you see at the other side of doing that.